Guys, you are not gonna believe this. So I'm out here taking a nice little stroll, enjoying the weather, and then suddenly I bumped in to the official MTV headquarters, okay? I've gotta show you guys this, so check it out. Look, it's right there. It's so cool, right? Isn't it so cool? I am right here outside the MTV headquarters. This is just too cool. Every time I start to gain my will to live again, I see something that makes me want to die again. This time it was a video from the horrible MTV Brawlist channel called Trans Men Explain Male Privilege. My depression was just finally ending, and then after watching that I had to wear a turtleneck for a week. So let's dive into this terrible video and learn all about our male privilege.
If you don't think male privilege exists, you are wrong.
Well, this time, I'm proud to be wrong. MTV Brainless.
Gender bias is often...
Okay, and it's Lacey Green. Oof, well, I don't really have much to say about that. But next time you record, Lacey, could you just wear a mask or something, please? Like, for the sake of all of us, you know?
Gender bias is often ignored because it seems invisible and subjective to those who benefit from it. But trans men have experienced both sides of the gender-divided society, so I'm gonna let them explain male privilege in their own words.
Male privilege is the bullshit idea that men are better than anybody else.
Well, hold on a second here, buddy boy. Men are better than others at some things, just like women are better than others at other things. It really depends what you're talking about. But generally speaking, and as far as society goes, no one is going around thinking that men are better than everybody else. Besides, you of course, since, you decided to become a man.
Male privilege is the ability to move about the world in the way that you want to.
I'm sorry, but am I hearing this correctly? Are you seriously saying that women can't move about the world in the way they want to? You know, buddy with the nose ring, you must be right. That's why we have a female running for president. Top female musicians, top female entertainers, successful female CEOs worth billions of dollars, top female authors. And on this list I looked at, there were even more women featured than men. So don't tell me that women can't move about the world in the way they want to. That is nothing but a complete lie and a total victim complex.
It's the experience of being left alone and free to be yourself.
And you, sir, or ma'am, or whatever the heck your pronouns are, have just proven your own point wrong. You said that male privilege is the experience of being left alone and free to be yourself. So you think that this is a males only privilege, a privilege that men have over women. Now let me explain the contradiction here. This person is a trans man. They were originally female and have transitioned into male. Now, I don't know all the reasons people transition, but I think it's fair to say many, if not most, transition because they believe that's who they really are. So this person, as a woman, has transitioned. They were clearly left alone and free to be themselves by simply transitioning. So you, buddy, are a walking contradiction to the point you just tried to make.
The first time I noticed I had male privilege was when I was walking home from hanging out with a bunch of friends who happened to be women. They had expressed being a little worried about walking home in the dark, and while I was walking, I realized that I had no worry in the world about being talked to or stared at or followed or assaulted.
That's it? That's your big moment when you saw the light, the angels of the patriarchy came down and told you that male privilege is indeed real. First off, just if you weren't afraid and you consider that to be privilege, doesn't mean that's a privilege that exists for all men. Secondly, stats just completely prove you wrong. You said you weren't afraid of being assaulted, but men are literally more likely to be assaulted. In fact, besides rape, men are more likely to be a victim of every single violent crime. Sorry, dude. Your little experience does not prove male privilege at all.
A man could just walk down the street and no one is going to bother him. No one's going to ask him to smile. No one's going to ask him where he's going. No one's going to ask him if he's married. No one's going to ask him if they can walk with him. But this is something that I know women experience every day.
This is probably the one thing I can actually agree on with this video. I've said multiple times that I think catcalling is rude, but if that's really all you have to prove male privilege, sorry.
First time I ever experienced male privilege was on social media. I've always been the type to express myself and talk real crazy. And when I did it prior to transitioning, it wasn't okay. But the minute that I transitioned and everybody looked at me as that male figure, it was like, oh man, that's hilarious. I'm like, hey guy, I've been hilarious all this time. So what are you talking about?
Are you even serious right now? All this male privilege you frickin' trans people are talking about isn't even privilege. Oh, someone laughed at my joke when I was a man. Privilege! Do you even know what privilege is? It's an advantage over someone else. Someone laughing at your joke is not an advantage over anyone. Secondly, did you tell the same joke as a woman when no one laughed as a man and everyone did laugh? Maybe it was just a different joke, or maybe you just said something funnier the second time. This is such a petty non-issue. No one really cares, and it's certainly not privilege.
Unexpected aspect of male privilege for me was being taken way more seriously than I was before, and it's funny because I have all the same ideas, still thinking about the same things, and yet sometimes I would literally just be talked over or laughed at. Now people will often quiet down.
So let me get this straight, and I know that word is probably very triggering for you people. When you were a woman, those sexist man pigs would talk over you and literally laugh at you. But then you transitioned into a man and they suddenly had this great respect for you. You realize that could be for so many other reasons, right? Maybe they were just being nice to you because you're trans. Or maybe you improved at your job. Maybe you did something to actually earn respect. Maybe you said something that was actually worth listening to. In a lot of ways, this video could prove trans privilege all the same, since everything you guys have mentioned isn't even necessarily because you're a man. At the end of the day, some people are jerks, but not everything that happens to you is because you're a woman or because you're a man.
I was in the club this night and my brothers are around. I think it might have been Single Ladies. Something came on and I'm like, oh, the Single Ladies, the Single. And they go, you're a man now. Men don't wild out to Beyonce like that. And I said, but it's music.
That moved me. Seriously guys, let's just take a moment to focus on this trans guy's emotional experience when someone made a comment about him dancing to Beyonce.
You're doing nothing wrong by having privilege. It's just what you do with it that matters.
What will I do with my male privilege? Well, hopefully I don't use my male privilege to commit suicide since, according to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, white men accounted for 7 out of 10 suicides in 2014 and die by suicide 3.5 times more than women. But if I'm ever hanging from the ceiling, swinging back and forth, my limp body will just have to remember, I had my privilege. Hopefully I don't take my male privilege and get murdered, since according to FBI crime stats, 77.6% of homicide victims were men. But hey, if I'm ever getting murdered, I'll just remember, I have my privilege, and I probably deserve it. Hopefully I don't take my male privilege and die at work, since according to Bureau of Labor Statistics, men make up 92% of fatal work injuries. Oh, but I don't get catcalled, so I'm the one with the privilege. And now, buddy, I know what you can do with your privilege. You can take your male privilege BS and shove it up your ass.
What else is male privilege? We actually have a bunch of men having to talk about what male privilege is, even though women have been talking about this for years. We ain't.
If men aren't crap, then why on earth did you decide to become one? And what about the female privilege that never gets talked about? Like the privilege of getting less prison sentences than a man for the exact same crime. Like the privilege of almost always gaining custody of your children in a divorce. Or the privilege of being able to accuse someone of rape and having everyone instantly believe you, rush to coddle you, while ruining the man's life before he's even been proven guilty. Then screaming about a rape culture. What about any of that privilege? Oh right, you people don't talk about that on this trash channel. You just like to demonize men.
I'd like to thank all of our guests for giving their
Oh gosh, there's more Lacy Green. So yeah, it's official. MTV is total trash. Thanks everyone for watching. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe for new videos every Friday. See you later. Bye. Just letting everyone know, I opened up a P.O. box. The address is in the description below.